Chicago's West Loop neighborhood has gotten a ton of attention over the last few years. So much so that it's actually been named one of the world's coolest neighborhoods. And honestly, there's a lot of good reasons as to why. But should you move there? Well, in this video, we're gonna go over the pros and cons of living in the West Loop so that by the time you're done watching, you'll know if it's the right fit for you. Hi, my name is Peter and I'm a realtor here in the Chicagoland area. If after you're done watching this video, you wanna move to the West Loop or somewhere else within Chicago, my contact info is down below. Feel free to reach out and I'm sure that my team and I can assist you. Let's start with the pros, and the first pro has to be the incredible food scene that can be found in the West Loop. Randolph Street is typically referred to as Restaurant Row. It's one of the main strips in the West Loop and it cuts east to west. It's got that name for a reason. That's because there's a lot of restaurants on it. And not only are there a lot of restaurants, but they're also top tier restaurants. I'm talking about some of the best restaurants, not only in the city, not only in the state, but entire Midwest and maybe even the country. Michelin star restaurants right outside your front door. One of my personal favorites is called Au Cheval, and it's a burger place, and I'm not kidding when I say it's the best burger that I've ever had. I know that's a hot take. I know there's a lot of burger places out there, but seriously, if you're ever in the neighborhood, you absolutely have to try it. So if you're someone that's a foodie, loves going out, trying new restaurants and trying some of the best food, well then you absolutely have to move to the West Loop because you're gonna love the choices here. Pro number 2 about the West Loop is its great location for commuting. As the name suggests, the West Loop is located just west of the Loop, which is Chicago's downtown area, and that's where most of the offices and companies are located. So if you're someone that's gonna be working there, well, the West Loop will put you in a neighborhood that's thriving, vibrant, and exciting, while still having a fairly easy commute to work. In fact, you'll probably be able to walk or it'll just be a short drive away. A lot of my clients do residencies in Chicago's medical district, and that's not far away at all either. So they find that the West Loop is the perfect place for them to live. The location is also great because of its proximity to 2 major highways. You got the Eisenhower going out west and the Kennedy going up north. So if you're someone that's gonna be working in the suburbs, you'll be able to get there fairly easily as well. Pro number 3 about the West Loop is the Fulton Market. The Fulton Market's really a sub-neighborhood within the West Loop that used to be a meatpacking and food distribution area, but now has transformed to a collection of art galleries, restaurants, companies, small boutique stores, and everything in between. It's a very unique neighborhood that's unlike anything else in the city. My favorite part about it is the Timeout Market, which is this really unique collection of some of the best foods and drinks in the city all under one roof. It makes for the perfect spot if you're just catching up with a friend or a colleague after work, and it doubles as a concert venue where they'll have shows there as well. If you're gonna be living in the West Loop, then you'll be spending a lot of time in Fulton Market. Pro number 4 about the West Loop is all of the exciting development that's happening here. Look, the West Loop's actually a fairly new neighborhood, and only as of the last few years have there been a lot of people actively wanting to move there. It's really exciting because, well, a lot of companies are here and a lot of startups are being built. And as a result of that, you're gonna get a ton of new restaurants, amenities, entertainment options popping up all over the place. It's really exciting to be part of a neighborhood that feels like it'll change year over year and might be completely unrecognizable in 5 to 10 years. The final pro about the West Loop is its unique architecture. Because of its history as being a very industrial area, you have a lot of warehouses and factories that have been completely converted into wonderful lofts for condominiums and office spaces. It's actually some of the most unique interior and exterior designs that can be found in the city, and none of the other neighborhoods really have anything like it. So if you're someone that likes things like exposed brick, timber, big open concept spaces, then you're gonna find a lot of that here in the West Loop. The combination of old and new creates this really unique character that just can't be found elsewhere. Okay, so those were a majority of the pros about living in the West Loop. Now let's take a look at the not so great stuff. Con number 1 is all of the construction happening in the neighborhood. Look, I get it, it's developing, it's expanding, that's really exciting, but with that comes a lot of noise, a lot of street closures, detours, trucks, and traffic. It's not really that much of an inconvenience most of the time. However, because of the way the West Loop is expanding and growing, it's not something that'll go away and come back. It's something that'll probably stay persistent over the next several years as the neighborhood develops. So if construction is going to be bothering you a lot, if you don't like to live among it, then don't consider the West Loop. Con number 2 is the high cost of living. The West Loop is an upscale neighborhood, so naturally it's going to cost a lot more living here than it would elsewhere. And I don't necessarily mean the money you might be spending going out and taking advantage of the amenities, but also just the cost of housing. If you choose to rent, it's gonna be really, really difficult, if not impossible, to find a one-bedroom apartment under $2,000 a month. They'll actually typically range right around $2,500 and even up to $3,500 depending on how fancy you want to go. As far as the 2-bedroom goes, you're looking at least $3,500 in most cases. Now, if you decide to buy as opposed to rent, it doesn't necessarily get much cheaper. A 1-bedroom will typically run you around $350,000, and that's on top of an association fee that you'll likely be paying, which can be in the range of about $500 a month. If you choose to go 2-bedroom or even a 3-bedroom, you're looking at least $500,000 depending on the age and amenities of the building. So if you don't like to spend a lot on housing, or you like to keep your budget tight and cost of living low, you might want to avoid the West Loop. Con number 3 is that the neighborhood's a little too far from Lake Michigan. This is actually personally my number 1 con, and that's because one of the best things about Chicago is, well, the access to the lake. The lakefront trails, the beaches, the paths, and just the views. And the West Loop is a little too far from that to be convenient. And there's not actually a whole lot of parks or green space either. So if you find that you're somebody that likes to enjoy parks, likes lakes, beaches, you're probably not going to want to live in the West Loop and want to find something that's a little bit closer to the lake. Con number 4 is the average nightlife. I'm not saying there's no nightlife at all in the West Loop, but what's there feels very lacking. After around 11 p.m. when all the kitchens close, even on weekend nights, the neighborhood can feel kind of dead. Definitely nothing close to what you'd find in neighborhoods like River North or Wicker Park. So if you're somebody that wants to live among a really thriving nightlife scene, you're not really gonna like what the West Loop has to offer. And that brings us to the final con of living in the West Loop, which is all of its unfinished business. Look, the neighborhood has a lot of exciting things going for it, and there's not a doubt in my mind that 5, 10, and 15 years down the line, it might be completely different and borderline unrecognizable, but as of this moment, it still feels unfinished. There's areas of the neighborhood that have vacant storefronts, like we said, a lot of construction happening, and it could actually take away a little bit of the charm that the West Loop is starting to form. So if you're somebody that wants to live in a lot more of an established neighborhood with all the character and charm, then you might want to avoid the West Loop, at least for now. So there you have it. Those are my 5 pros and cons of living in the West Loop. Hopefully by now you have a much better idea if this is a neighborhood that you should move to or one that you should probably avoid. It's a very, very unique place that has a lot of excitement, but it might not be for everybody. If you want to watch more Chicago content, well then stick around because this channel has a lot of it. And feel free to check out my latest video, which is this one, Reasons Why You Should Avoid Moving to Chicago. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.